But you are someone who gets called in by developers and builders right around the country to
Yes.
talk about the sales of their land lots and their estate and how it's put together and all of those types of things, which means that you have an opportunity to pick up on, just to be able to sell blocks of land without the margin of the marketeers in the middle. Am I right with that?
You are indeed.
So,
We do have to be careful how we say that because, as an example, we have a two-speed economy. For instance, in Rockhampton and those areas, or Billawheeler or Gladstone, they find it easier to just put them all through the marketers, and that automatically adds another $35,000 in fees to it. And if we take that direction, then it's very hard for us to come back and then re-offer it because you can't do two-tier.
that's
So
right.
we have to get in early with our clients before we go to the marketers and then say you first, and then we go to the others second. But to make that happen, we usually have to sell it at the high price and give them the $35,000 rebate at settlement. Otherwise, we've created two price points.
Okay, now let me just explain that for all of my listeners who maybe haven't kind of been around the industry quite as much as maybe I have. What that means is when an estate gets marketed, particularly anything of any size, quite often it gets taken to marketeers who basically telemarket and sell the land lot off, and their commission on selling those land lots comes in at around about somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000, sometimes $50,000, which means that, of course, in producing a block of land, the actual cost to the market is somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 less than what you're paying for it. Now, if you just go out there and you buy your standard house and land package in the burbs and whatever else, understand that that's the premium you're paying. So what that means is that and I can say this, perhaps Kevin can't, but I can, but when the estate's finished and they move on and go on to the next thing, what often happens is that you have a fallback in the price, and it typically comes back by whatever the marketeers have taken as commission in the middle, which is why I'm against that type of thing. Having said that, if you can come in and buy a property without that margin in place, buy the land without that margin in place, then you end up with a profit in your pocket of at least what the marketeers are charging, which is typically around the 40 grand. So you've produced a product with 40 grand extra in your pocket. Now, if you combine that with the ability to be able to build an efficient design that is economical, that is, that is a lower cost than perhaps what everybody else is building, but the end result is the same, you can pick up another maybe $40,000. So you end up with something that is, $80,000 better off in your pocket than everybody else in that suburb. Yet from a retail perspective, when you go on and sell that property, you get the same as everybody else. So immediately you're around about that 80 odd grand up in your pocket above everybody else in that suburb. And that's where the ability to be able to buy wholesale, which is effectively what you're doing in Australia, really comes into play.